Alright guys, so as you can see from those two photos, that's what it looks like with the boom. So I'm just going to be showing it here for now, and then we'll get to the boom. Anyway, this is the TWH Lampson 4100W. There are 125 of these produced. I was able to get my hands on one. The other libraries that they come in are the red Manitowoc, the Walsh, and the Kokosings. I chose the Lampson because I felt like it just, it looked the nicest. This is basically the same thing as a standard red version, but for obvious reasons it is painted in Lampson and it has the Lampson decal. So anyway, let's get this started. So I'm looking down here at the tracks. Tracks roll extremely smooth, possibly the best on any crawler crane that I have had in my hands. That seems to be, a good thing from TWH. All their tracks roll very smooth, and as you can see, they roll. You could even pull the body, and they will roll. One thing that I do want to point out that is excellent on these tracks, and if we zoom in here, we'll be able to see, is the drive chain right here, and you can see it's even hooked up to the sprocket, and when you roll the tracks, that sprocket even rolls. So that's pretty cool that they did do that, just like it is on the real crane. I like that a lot. Looking at the track pads, you could see flat grouser pads. They are linked together, and they are metal, and they also have that little etched detail in there, which is also very nice. Turning to the side of the undercarriage, you can see that you have counterweight boxes, or undercarriage weights, ballast boxes. Zooming in onto them, you could see or hear that they do have that anti-slip texture, which is very cool. And then they have steps here, which also have a texture on them. Another cool thing is that it has the warning decal, which is very hard to see, and I'm not going to be able to show it in the review, but I believe that it has the way that you actually put the counterweights together if you can't figure it out. And they are removable, and then that reveals the inside of the undercarriage, which is also pretty cool. And they basically just sit on these right here, and then there's little tabs right here that go into there. These, when you get the model, are empty, and they don't weigh much at all. They maybe weigh 2 ounces at the very most. So if you have extra weights, lead weights, you could fill it with them, which I did on the other side, but I don't have enough for this side. One thing I want to get to at the end of this video is the extension kit, which comes with other weights, but we'll get to that. Coming up to the cab, you can see the cab has very nice decaling. Even over here it has the hand signals and the danger. You can see the Manitowoc and the 4100W decal right there, which looks super nice. And looking on the inside of the cab, you can see that it is actually pretty detailed. It has all your levers, obviously a friction crane, and you can see the seat on the inside. Around the cab, the catwalks over here, you can even see it in the light, has some texture, which would be the anti-slip texture. And it has handrails and a windshield wiper. Now the cool thing about the cab is that it could open, so that's also a very big plus. And you can see the seat in here, and what I like is that basically everything in the cab is color coded. So the seat's green, and all the controls and the tips of the controls are either black or brown, and the actual controls or levers or consoles are white, which is very cool. I like that a lot. Unfortunately, like the seat can't turn or anything, but I wouldn't expect that. Coming to the back over here, you can see the Lampson decal behind the ladder, and the ladder is metal, so it's top of the line. And over here you have vents. They do actually go through, so if you do take the crane apart, it will go through, and you could see out the other side. And right here, I hope I can get it open. I haven't actually ever opened it. Unfortunately, I can't get it open, but that's the battery box, I believe, or storage compartment. In my review, my custom painted one, you could see it. And over here, you have more warning decals. And to the back, we have the counterweights. Now, the biggest thing that everybody always asks me, because they always get confused, and this goes for the past ones. The past standard crane, the counterweights really don't weigh anything at all, and they really don't do much for the crane. They're pretty much, they're not useless, but they're just there for show. And that goes for the ringer, the standard, and the dragline. The only version that had real weights was the tower crane version, and those weighed a lot, maybe a pound or two. This version, these custom painted ones, the counterweights do actually weigh like the tower crane version. So they will actually improve the load chart of the model. And this is, in my opinion, the biggest improvement. The rest of the model is pretty much the same, but I'm glad that they actually did that on these, because it does improve a lot. And the weights can come off the model. And usually in crane reviews, I don't show much of like the disassembly or whatever, but this is easy to do. So the weights do just pull off the back. And as you can see, they are in there pretty strong, so that's good as well. So they just pull off the model like that, and they go in the back of it like that. And if you're wondering what it looks like without the weights, it looks like that. Very cool, I must say, but anyway, that's not what we're here for. So the two cheek weights, the way that you put them in is you just put them on these tabs here, and then you just pull down. So the way you take them off is you just push them up from the bottom, and then these just pull out of each other, which is you know, very cool. And it works very well. You don't have to worry about them coming out. Obviously, even had a hard time taking them out, but that's how they come out. And they are 5 pieces, and like I said, they do weigh a lot. I wish I had a scale that could weigh something you know, below like 5 pounds, because I would love to weigh them to see how much they are. But that's how they come out. And like I said, you really don't have to worry about them falling out. As you can see, and the cheek weights just go in like that. And the cheek weights on the sides even have little warnings. I think that's the assembly for the counterweight. And if you put them in, you just push them in like that, and they hold in. Turning to the other side. Unfortunately, as you can see, I'm sure this is the first thing people notice. This decal, I don't think was applied perfectly, and when I was doing something to it, it peeled off. I could get another decal if I wanted, but it really doesn't bother me too much. Anyway, you could see more Lampson decaling over here, which is cool because it comes down from there, and then the Lampson globe, and then it goes over here. Another warning decal. You could see even it has a little bolt detail right there. And you can see these 3 holes in the body. And I'm going to get that in a second. Before I do, this door does open to reveal the engine, which is cool. I really don't display it like that, so that really doesn't mean much to me, but to some it will. And the door does open very easily, it just slides on there. Anyway, these keys, well, the holes are for the key, and they give you 1 key, which is weird because on the other ones they give you 2. But and the cool thing about it is it is even blue. And the key is blue, and here's what the holes in the body do. So the one in the very back, and I'll zoom it out so you could see. So spinning the one in the back, and here you can see the boom, will raise and lower the boom, as you could see. And then you could turn it, and then it'll bring the boom up. And then the ones over here will raise your hook blocks, and depending on how you reeve it yourself, I have this one for my main block, and then I have this one for my whip line or my headache ball or whatever you want to call it. Front of the crane over here has another opening compartment, and it's this one right here, and this opens and you can reveal the winches. I think that even if you put that in there, you can't even see it, but if you do put your finger in there, you could feel it actually turning, which is cool. I guess the real crane has that, so you could check on the drums, but assuming those are like the brakes on the real crane. Going to the top of the body, I'll have to raise my camera up for this, so bear with me for 2 seconds that it takes. Going to the top of the body up here, You can see, you know, it's pretty much flat like the real crane is. The cab has a sunroof, obviously, to look up at your boom and your load up there. The exhaust over here, you know, nothing really crazy, but the cool thing is over here is that opens up top, and I'm assuming on the real crane that's to let some air in there, since that's the engine. That's cool that they actually do add that up there. You have to, when you close it, you can't just push down, you have to like push down and in the back of it, because it's a weird hinge. Looking at the A-frame, or the mast, whatever you want to call it, over here, these flap down, assuming that they are ladders to get up to the A-frame, the actual ladder on the A-frame, and I'm not going to put them all down, but well, I guess I might as well just to show you guys. But assuming that's to get to here, so then you could grease the sheaves up top, and I'm just going to flap them all back up because I don't like the way that they look down. So there's a ladder up top. Really nothing crazy. It's cool that they painted it, and up here are sheaves for the A-frame. So I guess it's a better view if I turn it over here. Would have been nicer if they would have painted the pins for them, but you know, nothing really too crazy at all. You know, it's not like it really takes away from it. And then over here is the bridle, and the bridle is super nice, all metal sheaves. I forgot to point that out on the A-frame. It is all metal sheaves. Rolls absolutely perfect. There's really no problem at all in the way that they roll. And there's one thing I want to get to at the end of this to sum it up. But basically what I like to do is assemble it, is screw those in. Going to the boom is made out of angle iron on the real crane, so obviously it is on this one. So there's no boom tube. Not like the round booms like you see today on cranes. Anyway, here's your raising guiding system. In here, the boom basically, this basically just guides the boom up so it doesn't twist or anything, which is it's cool. Now the model itself comes with one 40-foot section and one 10-foot section, and here's the 10-foot section. And if you look on the ends, you can see screws. And that's to join the sections together. When you get the model, you have to put the 10-foot section together, the 40-foot section, and then you have to screw the pendant lines in and the counterweight. So assembly for mine, realistically, probably would have took around 20-25 minutes, but I wanted to put new string on the A-frame and bridle, so it took a little bit longer. But if it wasn't for that, it would have very easy to do. Now, the cool thing on the Lampson version, and on all the custom livery versions, is they painted the connectors for the pendant lines. So that's a big plus. It's something that I actually didn't think of when getting the model. It just totally, you know, crossed my mind. But it's cool that they do that. Looking on the back of the boom over here, you can see the sheaves that the line runs through. And one thing I want to say is when you assemble it, if you don't plan on taking it apart, make sure you run your line through the sheaves, because there's, I guess, the amount of paint on this model, it's almost impossible to actually like jump the line into the sheave. I tried to, and like the thread looked like it was about to break, so it's gonna just stay like that. Top of the boom tip, you can see the Manitowoc sign, which is a very nice touch because it breaks up the white boom. And I'm going to turn it here, and I'm going to show you the boom head. Now, looking at the boom head, and this is the best view I could get without like moving the camera like crazy. I believe that there are 6 sheaves, maybe. Yeah, there are 6. And the way that I ran my hook block and my whip line was I just put my hook block all the way to the operator's side, and then the whip line all the way to the other side. And I did this because I don't have the jib for it. You know, around here I really don't see cranes with jibs. Like the little fly jibs with the whip lines, that's why I don't add them. So that's why I didn't add it. This boom head could be outfitted with the jib, so if you want to buy the extension kit for that. And another thing is I didn't use the 4-100 hook block, because the simple fact that it's just, I mean, you know, cool and all, but it something with the sheaves on it. I guess like the pin is too small, and the center sheaves really don't, you know, they kind of sink in, which is odd. You know, it's a nice hook block, but it just doesn't, you know, really work properly, so I suggest getting another hook block. Another thing someone mentioned to me was that their hook block is always twisting, and you could even see this one isn't straight. That's because the tie-off is, they actually give you the tie-off. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's like just a little, I think it's actually the dog bone from the 18,000 linkage for the pendant lines, and it's right in the middle, so that causes the hook block to twist. And for example, if I pull the tie off back, you'll see that it doesn't really twist as much, but that's just the way it's going to be. So now I'll sum it up and give you my opinions on it. My opinion on the model is that it's super nice, and it's the same exact thing as a standard crane minus the color. The great thing that they did do was the actual relaying counterweights, and that is definitely a huge improvement and a great improvement as well. There are no counterweights in the actual counterweight boxes, but if you do get the extension kit, which I have coming, they do give you the lead weights, and I will actually review the extension kit, so you know, that's also coming, so check out that. It's you know, definitely a nice crane. It goes for $429, which obviously is expensive, but there is only 125 made, so that does put the value up. And that's pretty much it. If you're interested in buying one, check out the link in the description. And that's pretty much it. Take care and have a good one.